friends, welcome back to my channel for another video. I hope you guys are doing well. We are on summer break now, and so it is time for me to give you guys my end of the year book reviews. I did this last year and you all really enjoyed the video. So if this is the first video you're watching, welcome. My name is Ashley. I'm a homeschooling mom of 4, and today I'm going to be sharing all of the books that my kids read as far as assigned readers for school. If you know anything about my children, you know they love reading, and so they've read probably hundreds more books from the library than what I am going to show here, but I'm just showing what was assigned. And I do want to apologize for the weird lighting. It is the morning and I needed to film this now, and so you're seeing like this weird morning light here on my shoulder, but we're just gonna have to go with it. So if you're looking for book suggestions, I am gonna have a ton for you. I had my kids rate their books on a star scale, 5-star being the best, 1 being the lowest, and I have their little handwritten sheets here to share with you guys. I'm also gonna go over read-alouds that we did together as a family in our morning time. Now, I didn't bring up like picture books and reference books, but just chapter books that we read together. So if you're looking for book suggestions, get a pen and paper, and you know, you might get some good ideas here and make a list, so maybe you can refer back to it. I will have the majority of these books linked on my Amazon page for you guys. I'm not saying you can't find them any other place. I'm just saying that is where I will link to. So if you want to find them, that'll be down below. But let's jump in to the end of the year book reviews. Okay, I've changed camera angles just a tad, so let's see if this is any better. So starting with my oldest daughter, she was in the 8th grade this year, and as far as assigned readers went for her schooling, she took a literature course from the curriculum company BJU Press, and so this book is full of literature. Like, it's a whole entire, there's no worksheets in this book. This is just all literature that she read. So I felt it was a bit redundant for me to be requiring her to read another book during school when she was already working on this. Now, she read a ton of books on her own interest list, but as far as assigned readers in school, while she was working through this, I obviously didn't assign her reading because she was reading here. So this, if you want to take some reference to this, there were a few different things in here that she really enjoyed. There was the story of Ben-Hur, there was Little Women, there was another one in here, I'm trying to think of what it was, that she really liked. A lot of different poetry, so there was just a lot of different things, but Little Women, oh, The Christmas Carol, that's what it was. So they studied Little Women, The Christmas Carol, and Ben-Hur in here. So you could obviously just have your kids read those books, those classic books. She loved it, so that she loved this course. So she said 5 stars for all the stories that she read in there. She did do The Touch of Magic and The Story of My Life. She read this book about Helen Keller and then about the tutor that taught Helen Keller, and she loved it. She did a book study on this, so she gave this one 5 stars. This one, surprisingly, the Diary of a Young Girl, Anne Frank. My oldest loves historical fiction and or rather historical biographies, and so she was like, I was kind of surprised that she wasn't super eager to finish this book. I don't really know why. I don't know if it got redundant. I'm not really sure. So she gave this one 3 stars. So those were for my oldest daughter, who was in the 8th grade. Now, moving on to my next oldest child. He was in the 7th grade this year, and he read the entire series of Chronicles of Narnia, C.S. Lewis. So there are a total of 7 books. The 7th book is not here because his younger brother is currently reading it. The Magician's Nephew, The Horse and His Boy, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, The Silver Chair, Prince Caspian, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and then the last one is The Last Battle, I think. Yes, The Last Battle. So my son, both of my boys actually, so you'll see this stack again when I talk about my next son, they both read all of these C.S. Lewis books. So going in my son's order here, so he gave A Horse and His Boy 3 stars. He gave Prince Caspian 4 stars. He gave Voyage of the Dawn Treader 5 stars. He gave The Magician's Nephew 5 stars. He gave The Silver Chair 5 stars. And he gave, I don't think he listed this one on there, but we read this one as a read aloud together, so we loved it. We watched the movie, but it was still really nice to read the book. So he says he gives the whole, I'm like reading his notes. He'd give the whole series 5 stars, but he had his favorites. So if you've got a boy that loves this type of writing, I can't recommend these enough. The whole series is definitely a staple in a homeschool library. As far as other books that he read, the first book that he read was The Call of the Wild. And he only gave this book 2 stars. He said it was hard to understand. And he's an advanced reader for sure, so maybe this was just a little adult for him, but he only rated this one 2 stars. He read A Long Walk to Water, which was a very quick read for him. Where is that book? Here it is. He loved it though, and all of my kids will read this book, and he gave this one 4 stars. He gave Dragon Wings. This was a Newbery Honor book that I just got a whole collection of these at Costco, and I saw this one and I let him choose it out. He gave this one 3 stars. So not a super favorite of his. And then again, A Long Walk to Water was 4. He gave Fever 1793 5 stars. Kylie read this book last year. He read it this year, and it'll keep moving down the line. It's an amazing book. If your kids have not read this book, highly, highly, highly recommend. And then he also read a lot of books on his own time, but those were what we recorded down for his school reading. Now, my next son, I have his list here. He was in the 5th grade, and he reads so much too. It's just beyond. So his list is a little bit lengthier. So again, he was in the 5th grade, so if you're looking for suggestions for that grade, here we go. He read The Tale of the Blue Dolphins. He gave it 5 stars. He read King Arthur. Where is King Arthur? We may have, oh, here it is. He read King Arthur. He is also an advanced reader, and he said that he did need to go back and read portions of this book again to understand it. So I know that this was challenging his reading comprehension. So this might be a little bit advanced for a 5th grader, but you know your child best. He read it and he gave it 5 stars. The next book that he read was White Fang, and he rated White Fang also 5 stars. He read a book called Hero. You're gonna see a theme here. He gave this 4 stars. He read a book called Max. He gave this 4 stars. He read a book called Heroes Hurricane Rescue. It was another hero book. So I actually don't have that book to visually show you, but it was called Heroes Hurricane Rescue, and he rated that 4 stars. He read a book called Cherokee Run right here. This one he gave 3 stars. He read a book called Frindle, which was right here, and he gave this one 5 stars. He read The Magician's Nephew. Where is that book? I'm trying to show you guys the visual images of them, but I can't find it. So he read The Magician's Nephew, and he gave that book, it was the C.S. Lewis stack that I just showed you. So he read Magician's Nephew, Horse and His Boy, Voyage of the Dawn Treader, and Silver Chair. The whole Narnia series he writes, he gives 5 stars. So both my boys loved that whole series, and like I said, they read every single book. He read a book called Dear Mr. Henshaw. He gave this 4 stars. He read a book called The Toothpaste Millionaire, and he gave this book 5 stars. He read a book called The Tiger Rising, 4 stars. And he read, that's his whole Narnia series. So that is his whole list there. Now moving on to my youngest daughter, she is in the 3rd grade. She read a book called Matilda, and I think she put that back in her bookshelf in her room. So she gave that 4 stars. She read a book called Because of Winn-Dixie. She gave the book 2 stars. She read a book, this is kind of making me laugh because I remember she loved this book. So I don't know, take Olivia's star ratings with a grain of salt. She read this book called The Ordinary Princess. She gave this 1 star, but I knew she loved this book too. I don't know if she quite understood. This is making me laugh. She read The Tale of Despero. She gave it 5 stars. She read this book series, Pumpkin, Ginger and Spice and Syrup, and she gave it 3 stars. She read More Stories from Grandma's Attic. She gave it 3 stars. She read Frindle as well. She gave it 3 stars. She read Fiddler Crab. She gave that 2 stars. She read Shiloh. She gave it 5 stars. She read a Who Was book about Thomas Edison. She gave that 4 stars. And she read The Toothpaste Millionaire. She gave that 5 stars. And then she also read this entire series of 10, it's from Light Keepers, and it's called 10 Girls Who Didn't Give In, 10 Girls Who Made History, 10 Girls Who Changed the World, 10 Girls Who Made a Difference, 10 Girls Who Used Their Talents, and it's a whole book series here. She read this whole series and she rates them all 5 stars. She loved these. She was so into these, and I was really happy to see that. So this was basically her book stack that she read this year, and she loved this series, especially at the end. Now moving on to family read-alouds that we read, I did grab a few of, I grabbed actually a lot of the books that I wanted to show you guys. So I wanted to share this with you. This is the Answers books for kids from Answers in Genesis. It's the whole entire series. I cannot recommend these enough. If you buy one thing, I recommend buy these books and read a question a day with your kids. Read the scripture that it supports. I promise you, you will grow in faith, and your children will grow in faith as well. These are amazing. So 5 stars for sure. We read these 3 books from the Good and the Beautiful library. So we read Race for the Prairie, Judy and the Dragon's Secret. These were my kids' top 2 when I asked them which ones they liked best, but Race for the Prairie was also really good. So we read those 3. We read this book called A Grandma for Christmas. We read it at Christmas time. It went with like a Norwegian little unit study that we were doing. My kids loved this book. We read Daughter of the Mountains. Tough read for me personally. Lots of small words on the pages. The story was good, but I don't know, it was kind of a miss for us. Didn't super love that. We finally read The Trumpet of the Swan. I don't know how I've been homeschooling for as long as I have and hadn't read this. My kids love this book. We started off our school year with this one. I always try to pick a really fun book to start our school year with, and they loved it. 5 stars for sure. You already know how I feel about these Heroes Then and Now from YWAM. These are all Christian missionaries. We read Eric Liddell, William Carey, Mary Slessor, and Jim Elliot. It's impossible to choose a favorite. I give the whole series 5 stars. My kids love these missionary stories as well. They are honest about what missionary life is like. It's not sugar-coated. It really shows your kids just awe-inspiring faith and sacrifice in the name of God, and it really challenges kids who grow up in American comfort to think like outside of that. So I cannot recommend these enough. There's endless people to read about as well. And then we also read this book called One Crazy Summer. I wanted to read this book with them during Black History Month, and this book was really well done. It evoked really good conversation about what life was like. It's written during the 60s and like the civil rights movement. It was really good, and it also just encouraged really great conversation of comparing, you know, current times to past times, and just different things like that. And it was a story of these 3 sisters, and it was a really good book. I do want to put a disclaimer out there about this book. If your child has any type of abandonment issues with parents, or has experienced any kind of trauma surrounding that, you may want to skip this book, because that is a key like focus of the story. So anyways, we really enjoyed it, but just be aware of that. It was a really great read for lots of different reasons. Some of the fun picture books that we read, well, this isn't really a picture book. This is called How the Bible Works. This is from Master Books. We really enjoyed this. I got these fun books from Arizona on a girls trip, so we read these 2. These were fun picture books. I read these as a part of our ecosystem science unit, so they went well with that. These were also some of our ecosystems units. We read The Schoolhouse Blizzard from The Good and the Beautiful. Love that. We read this whole book, Marvels of Creation, from Master Books. My kids love these books. There's a series of 3. There's birds, sea creatures, and mammals, and they're awesome. And then this was probably my top favorite, and that is why I'm finishing here. This book called One Blood for Kids, What the Bible Says About Race by Ken Ham is probably one of the most important books I've ever read to my kids in all of our homeschooling journey. This book is, every adult should read this book. Every child should read this book. Every person in the world should read this book. It is amazing. And so I want to share this with you guys as the last one, because I feel like if every homeschooling family out there got this book, used this book, read this book to their kids, we would really be making a difference. And so this book was amazing, and I wanted to end it here with this one. I got it from Master Books as a part of a whole set, but I did find it on Amazon, so you can purchase it just by itself, and I cannot recommend it enough. So that is going to be it for our book review video. I hope you guys snagged some good ideas, or maybe a few books that you hadn't heard of that may have piqued your interest. I hope you guys are doing well and enjoying your summer break if you're taking one. Let me know if you have any questions down below with a comment. Give me a thumbs up for book videos so I know that you guys still enjoy them. And thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you all in my next one really soon. Bye guys.
I can touch a stream of gold.